We're intentional. I opened up the store intentionally. I've learned what I need to be able to do for my community intentionally. Yeah. I never have to say I do stuff for my community. Mm-hmm. I do stuff for my community because you see me do it.
Yeah.
Because you see me active. You see me roll up to other people's places and spend my money. That's how I'm intentional.
That was Francisco Segarra, owner of Art Retail Therapy in Queens. And this is Epicenter NYC. We connect our communities to news, information, and each other. I'm your host, Amber Castillo. On the corner of 85th Street and Jackson Heights, A.R.T, short for Art Retail Therapy, has more than just brushes and colored pencils. It's a space that invites artists and non-artists alike to share their art and life stories, or to simply get lost among the well-stocked shelves. Some customers come in looking for a specific art supply, others come in for events like the weekly figure drawing class, and a few swing by to use the copy machines. Francisco opened A.R.T in 2021 after learning that longtime art supply store GC Stationery was closing. He wanted to keep fulfilling the neighborhood's creative needs, but also make the venture his own. Today, the Queer and Latinx-owned shop is a community arts center. But Francisco doesn't do it all alone. He enlisted the help of his best friend, Charlie Márquez, who became his business partner. Today, I sit down with Francisco and Charlie to learn more about A.R.T, running a small business, and building a community. Before we jump in, a quick message from our team.
Hi, I'm Carolina from the Epicenter NYC team, here to remind you to safeguard your fun, your plans, and your trips. Get vaccinated and don't let illness cancel your joy. It's your season, not flu season, not COVID season. You can schedule your appointment now, and we can help. Send us a note at hello@epicenter-nyc.com or call or text us at 917-818-2690.
Now back to the show. Here's my conversation with Francisco and Charlie.
I was wondering about how you, at least from your perspective, how you guys met and how...
Math Magazine used to be. It no longer is. It's a quarterly. I don't want to say like Sex Magazine because it wasn't. It's like a literature, photography, art, but all revolved around, sex and humans and bodies and all that stuff. And I used to always volunteer at their events. And so anyway, point being, I always kept up with them. We met there and we dated. Pandemic came. And then somebody said something about the stationery store closing. I love chaos.
Yes. And so you're like starting a business. Yes.
I love chaos. It's my big thing.
She's an encouragement.
I'm an encourager. I'm an encourager of chaos. If people are like, I would really love to get this tattoo on my toe of like a pizza slice. Yes, go do it. No. So anyway, after many things, many trials and tribulations, he got the space, figured it out, we're opening it up. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at now.
Do you guys still live in the same place? Like, are you guys still roommates or partners or I don't know? Okay.
We're business partners.
That's it. Okay, got it.
We're best friends.
We are.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we're just, my whole life, I'm going to be supportive of him and whatever he wants to do, whatever which way. And I know that he will be the same thing about me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's a soulmate, basically.
What's the most challenging part about your job sometimes or your experience since you've worked here?
Having to let people down sometimes.
As in...
Yeah, navigating people.
Navigating people. Like, honestly, I have so many thoughts and opinions. People talk a lot and they don't always show up in that same type of way, that same type of energy. Okay. They want to say they're about their community. They want to say they support this thing or they have all these things, but then they don't make an effort. So I think that's the challenging bit is whenever you get somebody who's like not nice and like... Yeah. They'll just make like sweeping comments or just like say like, oh, I'm just gonna get it on Amazon. I'm gonna get it on that, which I get it if it was like a money thing, but like it's not a money thing. It's this idea of like immediacy that we have, this false sense of immediacy that people have, and that's frustrating because I'm not rich. I don't have a lot of fucking money, and even when I did have a job like full-time paid job, which I don't now. Even when I did, but I wasn't like that. It was a nonprofit job. I still made an effort to spend in all my local businesses. I mean, as much as like I don't have really like a home to go back to, like, but I am an invasive species in New York. Like I am somebody who's not from New York. So I find it like, for me, if you move somewhere, it is your duty. For me, the frustrating part is like seeing people that like move into the neighborhood, not spending the money in the neighborhood, which therefore takes away from the reason that they moved in the first place. people come to Jackson Heights, they say, oh, it's so pretty, it looks like a village. They come here, they don't support their businesses, they just do everything delivery.
I have to say, I think it's fair to say 20 to 30% of our new clients that we gain is because Amazon fails. Mm-hmm. They'll come in here on a last minute thing is, I ordered this and it didn't come here. And I didn't know there was an art store in the neighborhood. So do you have this?
Yeah.
And we have it. And we fulfill the need.
Yeah, so
and you don't usually see them all the time.
No, you don't see them again.
Yeah, you don't
so
see
I think
them again
that's the part
till the failure happens again, and then they come back.
Yeah, so I think that's the most frustrating part.
Yeah,
is like the exhaustion of like just being a small business and like really trying hard and still having people that like just don't show up for not even just for you, but for everybody else that's involved in making a community happen.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing. So like, I think we've written about a little bit how I help the community because I never want to beat my chest that this is, I do community. We're intentional. I opened up the store intentionally. I do the work that I do here intentionally. Right. I've learned what I need to be able to do for my community intentionally. Yeah. I never have to say I do stuff for my community. Mm-hmm. I do stuff for my community because you see me do it. Yeah. Because you see me active. You see me roll up to other people's places and spend my money. That's how I'm intentional. I spend my money in my neighborhood. Right. I spend my money across the street. I take turns where I buy my coffee. That's how intentional I am. Because I support Letty's. I support Espresso 77. Where I buy my coffee. Literally in my brain, I take a mental... I'll come out of my house. I'll be like, where haven't we bought coffee? So many little shops in here are just the same, you know?
Yeah, and the same question to Charlie. Or you say that's also the biggest challenge when, like, what they were talking about with...
It's a challenge to keep afloat. I mean, and you said to me yesterday, I remember very clearly, you said, how do you rest? And it's hard to think sometimes about resting when you're thinking about having to be able to make it at the end of the month. So, you know, the plan this year is to put rest into the plan. And if you tell me what my biggest challenge is finding time to rest.
What would you say is your vision for this business? Like in 5-10 years? I don't know how far out you envision it, but...
What do I envision? I envision...
Or what are your hopes for the future?
Making a bigger space for my community. Being able to fulfill the need that I see every day. And there are so many needs. There is a need right now that I find that a lot of my clients that are what people call of the third age, they want to be able to be involved in something. They have a limited income. I think I'm really lucky because I meet artists, young artists, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, that say to me, have you ever thought about teaching a class for seniors? And I was like, yes.
Did you feel like you were meeting the need in terms of...
At the beginning, yeah. And then I felt like the need was so much bigger that I can meet, and it made me restless, and I just took it on, you know? I took it, at the beginning, when people would come in and they'd be like, I don't have Wi-Fi, or can you help me move this from my phone over here? Or can you help me fill this out? And I would be very apprehensive about doing it because it's people's personal information and stuff like that, you know? And like, I see so many things happen.
Right. And then some people are so trusting and they
just hand you stuff over. And I was like, no, I don't want it. And I immediately, I was like, no, I don't want it. Put it away. Even when I make a copy and it's a mistake, I rip it and I give it back to them. Bótemelo. No, señora. Because I want to make sure that because that stays in your head. Ese hombre no quiso botar mi basura, pero con una razón. Porque hizo un error con tu papel y salió una copia con tu información. Llévatela. But I always rip it. So they don't mistake the copy with your, because that's like because they're older and paperwork gets mixed up and I get it.
Could you articulate again what you think was the need before and how it has changed?
Sure. The need at the beginning was to be able to fulfill what the community needed, right? But what I thought the community needed was copies and faxes and like, and somebody to help them because like, here's the thing, right? My copies are 15 cents. So then I noticed somebody would say, what do I sign? Right? I would make them a copy of something that they would send me through email that I would have to help them to be able to. That's a big thing. Everything's on your phone.
And then just to clarify from before, you said when we were speaking about like visions or things that you would like to do, you were talking about maybe doing programming with older adults. Was that it?
Yes.
Like
so that's
classes.
coming. Yes,
Oh,
that's coming.
Do you
yes.
have like a timeline in mind? or you don't-
Within the next 2 months.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, within the next 2 months, we're going to start doing, and programming with older adults requires two things. You have to find the right artist to be able to teach these classes, but more than anything, you have to make the time during their time to make the classes. And their time requires you not to do stuff at night because they are scared of the night.
Yeah, like not safe, right?
Yeah, not safe.
And then do you have someone in mind already, or would you
Yes.
be teaching? Okay.
So you know what they really like to do, which I've noticed because I've talked to other people who do senior classes, they like to copy famous paintings.
Oh.
But
They
when
have
you
that
copy a famous painting, you know what you do? You learn a lot of technique. Because when you're copying a famous painting, you're learning about how do you do that brushstroke? How do you match that color? How did that artist get to be able to make that water look like water on there?
Yeah.
So yes.
So you're gonna get someone with that kind of background.
Yeah. I have them already.
Oh.
Yes,
awesome.
I have them already. We started speaking to.
So any interested folks should like sign up for your newsletter. Or...
Yeah, sure, 100%. They are not.
Or how do
They're not the technology.
Okay.
It's gonna be word of mouth.
Okay,
Yeah.
word of mouth, or just to check in. They can stop by and check in.
Yeah. Or you see my sign outside, my A-frame.
Oh.
I write. So my A-frame outside is both in English and Spanish.
Oh, right.
No, right in front of the
outside.
store. If you open the store to the right,
Yeah.
actually Charlie just
It's called
rewrote
an
it today.
A-frame. Okay.
She just rewrote it. If you look at it, everything that I do is in English and Spanish.
Right.
So one sign is English, one sign is Spanish. So they come by and they check it out.
And then anyone who doesn't know about the store, what would you recommend? And maybe, I know it's tough because then people are artists, people have different disabilities, but we usually ask for a recommended item or recommended like spot in the store, in the business. Do you have anything like that?
People find the store because they have a need for different stuff.
Okay.
An office supply, a ream of paper. You don't want to go stand at the post office, so I sell stamps.
Everyday needs like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can find ART at 84-26 37th Avenue in Jackson Heights. They're open every day from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. You can also learn more at artretailtherapy.com. This month on May 23rd, they're hosting a witchcraft night. It'll be a night of crafting, tarot reading, music, movies, and more. Tickets are $25, and you can find details by clicking the link in our show notes. Finally, if you know of a local business that you think Epicenter should feature, let us know. Drop us a note at hello@epicenter-nyc.com. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting us as we do our best to support our community. We couldn't do it without you. For more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter at epicenter-nyc.com. Our intro music is All the Pretty Horses by Karavika. You can find more of their music on their website, linked to in our podcast description.